Hey guys, musicninjamat here. Going to be talking about my thoughts to Fighting With My Family. I finally got a chance to go and see it. There will be spoilers throughout this video, of course, and I will post timestamps down below for everything I'll be speaking about. I will also put in a bad language warning here, just because some of the stuff I'll reference does include bad language. So straight away, this movie had me sold. You heard The Rock's music, and they showed off some WWE footage. We saw The Rock versus Triple H, and I like how this movie mixed in some WWE footage as well as you just seeing bits from actual events. Just thought it was really dope. The humour in this was perfect. It wasn't overused, and it's what I would call very British. Like, the film established itself very early on with what tone it was going for. When Paige's parents had been really sweet to her and she just goes, "What do you dickheads want?" And I'm like, yeah, that's what you like. When your parents are being nice, you're like, they definitely want something from me. And I just could not stop laughing when her mum was describing wrestling as being on like heroin and coke and all of this at the same time. Paige is like, "You've been on all of those at the same time?" She's like, "Not all at once, no." And I just could not stop laughing. I was like, wow, this is not what I thought this movie would be like. But one of the best scenes is you have Nick Frost's Ricky Knight, and he's testing weapons out on one of the wrestlers he works with, where he's going, "Oh, they want to know if you'll take a bowling ball to the nuts or a dustbin lid to the face," and they're seeing what each thing feels like. I just like the writing with the humour, because the conversations they have, I've had similar odd conversations with friends. It's very natural sounding, the way everyone talks in this film. And Paige is just such a great character in this. I know it's based on a true story, but great character in this, because she's just very blunt and she's very real. She's witty as well in her comebacks, and she's very easy to just want to cheer for and to support. Obviously, we see the family, so we see her two brothers, we see her parents, we see how some of their backgrounds are a little bit more rough, but they're a family and they stick together. We see how her brothers dealt with the rejection from WWE, how they didn't take it too well and it led to a lot of built up anger. One of the most interesting arcs is Zach's, because he starts to blame Paige, and one of the scenes that's most kind of heart-wrenching is when he has a match with her when she comes back home, and he just goes off script and starts slamming her about, and he pins her when she was meant to win the match. And he's mad because she wants to quit, and he's saying, "You stole my dream and you don't even want it." And he's saying, "What do I do now? I've got nothing here." And she reminds him, "You have an amazing girlfriend, you have a kid." She was like, "You are teaching kids how to wrestle, you are teaching a blind child how to wrestle." She said, "Just because millions of people aren't cheering you on doesn't mean it's not important." And I thought that was a really powerful moment, because from then on you can see him start getting back on track. And I like it with her parents as well, because they're pushing her to be successful. They want her to be successful because it will help out the family and the business and everything else. But through all that, they just support her and want her to be happy. So obviously this film is Paige's story, but it shows us a journey through WWE. It shows us what it would be like to go from being an indie wrestler training through developmental and going onto the main roster, and how things work a little bit. And I like the training scenes as well, because they show just how damn hard it is being in NXT, and it shows what being a wrestler means to people, why people do it, and shows the love people have for it. With Paige's story, there are a few changes, like they ignore the fact that she was NXT Women's Champion. They just kind of shuffle stuff around so that for a feature-length narrative, it's epic and all that kind of stuff. But I don't mind it, because it is a good story. From what I remember, Paige's debut went a bit different. She didn't freeze up or anything like that. And from what I remember, people really liked her in NXT, whereas in the film they try and play it off that people were a little bit more harsh to her. One thing that surprised me was a scene where she's fighting this girl and this girl keeps accidentally hitting her, and she's saying, "How do you not know how to wrestle?" And this girl goes, "Well, I was a model." And I thought, this is interesting. They're going into how the women's division was made up of women that necessarily necessarily didn't want to be wrestlers. They were kind of scouted out, brought in and trained. And we see Paige's relationship with these girls and how that changes. We see how Paige wanted to be like them, then ended up training them, because image is another big thing in this movie. You know, you have all the blonde, tanned girls the crowd loves, and because Paige is different, they treat her different. And I like how Paige is at her most successful and has the best relationships with them when she is just herself. We obviously get cameos from Rock, Sheamus, Big Show, Miz walks by as well. It's just really cool seeing them in this movie because they're all really funny. Well, apart from Miz, but he doesn't really get to do anything. It really hit me as well where I was like, I love seeing these matches, and like, it's a film about wrestling. I just love this because even non-wrestling fans can like this film and maybe appreciate wrestling a little bit more. It just really shows why fans love it, why people get into it. I wish the matches were maybe a bit more detailed in the film. They're all very quick. The very last fight where it's Paige AJ Lee, when it was Paige's Raw debut, I really liked the fact that you had AJ do the like, you're in my house, and then one of the last things Paige says is, this is my house now, which of course was one of her big catchphrases. And I like stuff like the Paige Turner being her brother's finisher, and everyone's like, she stole it, and he's like, no, I let her use it. And the whole thing about she was Britney Knight, and they said we already have a Britney, and she changed it to Paige based on Charmed. One thing I found really weird was when Rock calls Vince Vaughn's trainer character Sex Tape, and he says, well, I call him Sex Tape because they make people famous. And for some reason my brain was like, why did they put that in there? But never mind, moving on. But Vince Vaughn is great in this film. He's incredibly funny and witty with a very dry sense of humour. He's very tough and extremely brutally honest towards the characters. In some ways, I think he plays it off a little bit too nice considering he's a trainer. Like, when Paige looks like she wants to give up, I would have thought they'd more likely be like, well, go then, we don't want you here. But he's a lot more soft on her. But I like when he's explaining why they didn't take her brother in the WWE. And when he tells his story, saying about there are guys that just get stuck being enhancement talent and they will do anything to get noticed, throw themselves off of cages and damage their bodies and live quite miserable lives sometimes, and it's a vicious cycle. And it's nice as well because then later on, when The Rock does address him, he's like, that guy made me look amazing one night, threw himself off this cage. And the last little thing was, I really liked seeing the actual footage from what I'm assuming was the Fight With My Family documentary, which was on Channel 4. So it was nice seeing the comparisons between the film and the actual family. Anyway guys, that was everything that stood out for me with this movie, and I really enjoyed it. Loved it, would happily watch it again, and very much recommend going to see it. Thank you so much for watching guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. Check out the links in the description down below. Check out the whole channel, especially the playlists, and I will see all of you in the next one.